Y'all want to transition over to Diddy?
Bro, let's do it.
Hey, at least like I said before we started live, at least he's got a cool nickname. You know what I'm saying? Diddy, bro. Like if he was known worldwide as Diddy, that's a cool ass name to go by, bro.
That is not a name I would have picked for myself.
Me neither. Diddy? Like I wouldn't even have picked.
I like Puff Daddy better, but you see why he wanted to switch it. He wanted to market himself, and you know Sean John and all the liquors and all that. So Puff Daddy back when they had a DARE program and a war on drugs, like
was that actually the reason why he changed his name?
I think so, yeah, because that was coming off. Remember after Biggie was killed, and he kind of went through this transitional thing where he was more like on the executive side instead of being in the forefront. Remember back in the Biggie videos, he'd always be in the video. Yeah. And then once that whole situation kind of went down, he kind of started going by P Diddy instead of Puff Daddy. Okay. I think he wanted to separate himself from the whole the drug kind of hip hop thing. Not hip hop, but the drug Puff Daddy. You know what I'm saying?
He started doing rock music. Hear my fall. You see
and it worked.
Sprawl.
I think it worked. I think his net worth, I mean, I'd have to double check, but his net worth probably tripled since he changed his name. So it worked up until now. Shit. He might be in trouble, bro. He might lose. I mean, damn. We live in a PC world, man. It's kind of funny, though. I don't know. I didn't want to interrupt you, Juice. I don't know if you want to break down what Diddy did or not. I got an article pulled up.
Man.
So, I mean, I hate it for Diddy, but it's like the Bill Cosby thing, right? It's like, dude, you should have known better. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the R. Kelly thing, dude. You should have known better, I know you're young and you're not really thinking about... Okay, so for anybody who's not caught up on Diddy, Diddy is facing sexual assault charges from, I think, the third different woman came out. Is there 3 now, or is it still 2?
I think it's 3.
Sean Diddy Combs accused in 3rd lawsuit this month of sexually assaulting a woman. So who was the other one that was with him? Aaron Hall? Aaron Hall. What songs did Aaron Hall do? I have to Google it. I remember Aaron Hall. I just don't remember. As soon as the song comes up, I'll remember that shit. Aaron Hall. But they're accused of sexually assaulting this woman. I mean, how long ago was this? Maybe you should give people specific.
So the first lawsuit or the first sexual assault suit was filed by Cassandra Ventura, the singer Cassie, who once signed to his Bad Boy label and who dated him for years. That case was settled, right? And that as a result of that, he was forced to step down from his position as chairman of Revolt, which is a 10-year-old cable network and online outlet.
Was he forced, or did he voluntarily step down? I thought he voluntarily stepped down.
He stepped down. She said he stepped down as chairman of Revolt,
which might be the same, voluntarily or forced, because we can't. This is business, bro. You can't be in here with sexual lawsuit allegations. Like you're an executive of our company. You got to go.
I'm trying to see who the other. In the second case, Joy Dickerson Neal accused Mr. Combs of drugging and raping her in 1991 and recording the incident on video. She said that I think she's the one who said that that he had shown the video or somebody, like one of the members of Jodeci had seen the video and had told her about it, that video existed, and that's how she found out about it, and that all that went down.
Why would you ever videotape? I guess when you're young and dumb and full of cum and popular and hip hop star, you don't really
think you're invincible.
You don't think 35 years in the future, right? It's kind of crazy though, man. Like a lot of these guys, I guess you get to a point where you think you're kind of untouchable, right? Like,
well, I mean, so it's easy to think that because, like, look at Tiger Woods, right? Same shit, not similar shit, right? Like, but he thought he was on top, and then, well, You
Why
know,
would you ever videotape? That's my thing. It's like, dude, don't tape nothing.
Well,
You know
that's
what
the
I'm
thing.
saying?
Like, so for Diddy, like, so if I've heard stories or I've heard like people covering this. I'm kind of I should have like went over this article a little bit more in depth. I'm looking at the New York Times article. But essentially, like, Diddy was a goddamn tyrant, man. Like, first off, we know. Let me say this from off jump. Like, let me say this at the beginning. And nobody's gonna believe me, but I'm gonna say it now. I never trusted this. I never trusted Diddy, yo. I never trusted this dude, man. Ever since he got his come out off of the death of Biggie.
He was cashing in on that, boy.
That,
oh man, he was cashing in.
That was not your friend. I don't remember seeing you around Biggie before this.
You were always in the background in his videos, dog. Like, you're like a background singer.
Now all of a sudden you like, I'll be missing. Like
every step.
Man.
You're right. Diddy always did seem a little sleazy and a little untrustworthy. I mean, not that I know him personally, but I think one reason we never really trust him is because he was always in the background of these videos. Why are you trying to grab clout off of the locks, off of DIG, off of Notorious Big? Like, get the fuck out of the way. We're not here to see you. We want to see. Like always talking in the background on people's songs. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
That's a character issue, right? So also on top of that, what he did to G-Dep, what he did to Craig Mack.
G-Dep's album was tight.
Well, Shine went to jail. Still did the Shine. Like, name another rapper that was cool, that was under Diddy that we don't never see no more. Name another one. There's others. Like,
I know he had a rapper, Loon. Loon had. See, the thing is, they come out with these albums, and he was always had like these contractual issues going on, right? Like the locks wanted out underneath them. Yeah, anybody like you never really came trusted
out under Diddy, man, was particularly rappers, right?
Yeah. Because he came out with R&B groups as well.
Mace ran for a reason, right? Mace ran for a reason. Like, look, Diddy is not a trustworthy dude. So I'm saying that off break. I never trusted this dude. Never trusted this nigga. Man. He was always sus, right? But now we see, like, you know, obviously these interactions didn't only happen under or with it happened with people he controlled via money and power that he had in the music industry, but also happened to women he was with. He was with Cassie, the first woman, right, who filed this complaint. He was with Cassie for years. Everybody knew Cassie, right? Everybody knew Cassie, essentially, right? And some of the stories that are coming out about how he made her have sex with other people, how he would like to kick the shit out of her, how he was just whooping her ass in front of people and nobody would say nothing. It definitely is in line with the kind of character this portrays to me, man. Like, when I heard this stuff, I was like, oh, word? Well, finally, not surprised in the least, man.
Yeah, you're not really surprised. But, okay, it's the same issue with the Bill Cosby thing, though, right? Like, this, and I'm not saying what they did was right. Obviously, if you did this, you're a piece of shit.
Right.
But this story is 32 years old, you know? So you can look at it like, is this a cash grab? I mean, do you have no culpability? Do you have no culpability in your decisions that you made in 1991?
Let me say this about Cassie.
If I get drunk,
he offered her, what was it?
If me as a man, if I go get drunk and I hit somebody in my car, am I not culpable for getting drunk? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I not culpable for the decisions I made when I drank? So, like, to say that he sexually abused her and drugged her, well, give us some specifics, bro. Like, did he slip something in your drink? Were you drinking? Did you take the drugs? Did you start drinking? Like, where are your faults in this story? You know, I mean, I need to know if you come out with this 32-year-old accusation, we have to have specifics because this is too broad. This is
no, not necessarily. We don't need to have specifics. What
we do, man, because then you can go on a witch hunt for anybody. If I made a stupid decision when I was 21 years old and I took some mollies and I gave some mollies to a girl who accepted them and was chilling with me, right? Some Molly. I don't even know what Molly is, right? I decided to take it. I gave her one, and she made the decision to take it, right? Is she not culpable in that act? Am I to blame for her taking the Molly because I offered it to her and she took it?
Wait. Let's not let
that you have to.
What? No. Stop.
She has to be able to take some responsibility for that.
No. The Molly is not the issue here.
What's the issue then? What's the issue?
Sexual assault is the issue. So if
now that's a broad. That's too broad, bro. That's too broad.
It's not. It is specific.
That's why I say you need specifics. That's why I say you need specifics.
No, all you need is facts.
What is the assault? Did he unbutton your shirt? Did he push you down on the bed? Did he physically make you have sex with him?
Yes.
How do you know that? Because there's no specifics in the story. How do you know he did that? All the story says is that he sexually assaulted her. How did he sexually assault you?
What you know is what she's accusing him of in that sexual assault. Whatever happens needs to go through the justice system. But
we need specifics, man. The only thing is, we do because you're putting all of these things under one umbrella.
Let me say,
you know what I'm saying?
Let me say this. It's not under. It is under one umbrella as sexual assault. So sexual assault is defined as taking advantage of against somebody or abusing them sexually in a way they didn't welcome, right? That they didn't want, right?
So why did it take 32 years for you to realize you didn't want that?
It's not about taking 32 years.
Diddy? How
exactly?
We are all adults.
This is a issue. This is a dynamic of power, right? The same reason they came out all this time later talking about Bill Cosby, because Bill Cosby was powerful and he could end their career and he could do things to them without laying a finger on them. This is
career
power.
It's the same,
man.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. If even if it was a man, even if it was it's also a dynamic between a man and a woman, right? If a man sexually assaults a woman, most women are very scared or very afraid to come out and say about what happened to them because it's a traumatic event. It's something that fucks them up psychologically.
And I get that. I'm not talking about all sexual assaults. I'm talking about specifically.
No. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter how much time, and it also doesn't matter.
It does, man.
It also doesn't matter. It also doesn't matter. It also doesn't necessarily matter about what specifically happened. What does matter is in this case, she was scared and he was also in a very high position of power that he could have ruined her life.
Listen, so this was in hang on. This was in 1991 when this assault happened. He wasn't in a position of power then. Sean Diddy Combs was not Sean Diddy Combs in 1991. The first one says the woman who filed the first complaint, Lisa Gardner, said she and a friend met Combs and Aaron Hall, who was a member of the R&B group Guy, at the record label's offices for an event MCA was hosting. The friend was not named as a plaintiff in the lawsuit. The suit alleges that Combs and Hall were, quote, very flirtatious and handsy with Lisa Gardner and her friend, end quote, and offered them drinks throughout the event. Toward the end of the night, Combs and Hall invited Gardner and her friend back to Hall's apartment for an after party, according to the lawsuit. Where is her decision? She made the decision to drink with them. She made the decision to go back to the after party.
But she didn't.
So we know those details, right? So what are the details once we got into the
full stop?
We need details, bro.
She did not deserve to be assaulted.
Of course not. Of course not. But was she assaulted is the thing. Or were you just happy to be in a room with an R&B star? And you were caught up. You were caught in a deer in the headlights. You know what I mean? You were happy to be there. So 32 years later, you realized you were assaulted and it offended you, or were you happy to be in that party with them at that time?
A little bit of where you're coming from, because there are situations where we have women falsely accusing black men of sexually assaulting them and getting them in trouble, right? Emmett Till and the rest.
Now listen, this okay
like that, but there's so many. But I feel like that's where you're coming from. But in this case, there's very strong accusations, but I think there's very strong evidence against him in this regard, because it's not just one, it's not just two, it's three different women.
So listen. You're right, and that's what messed Bill Cosby up. There's so many women. It's like, dude, there had to be some truth to this. Now you got three different women. Okay, listen, hold on. While at Hall's apartment, Lisa Gardner was offered more drinks and was coerced into having sex with Combs. So you were offered more drinks, which you chose to drink, right? So were you horny? Were you groupie? Were you trying to get into the? Did you think that you were going to benefit off of this somehow? I'm going to start dating Aaron Hall. I'm going to start dating Combs. After Combs finished doing his business, this is what the article says. After Combs finished doing his business, Lisa Gardner laid in the bed, shocked and traumatized. Were you shocked and traumatized, or were you drunk as shit and you just finished having sex with Sean Diddy Combs?
Justify this too, though.
So I'm not justifying it. I'm saying she is culpable. You can't just say he sexually assaulted you when you chose to have sex. This, to me, this says you chose to have sex with him.
No, it doesn't. It says she was
drunk and she went back to his house.
Yes, she was drunk. She was at his house. He had sex with her.
But how was that his fault? She chose.
What do you mean?
Hang on, wait. That's why I said we need specifics. That's why I said we need. Okay, so in the article, right, it says
you have her story.
While she was trying to get dressed, Aaron Hall. While she was trying to get dressed, this is what the article says. I just want to read this part because these are specifics, and this is what I'm saying. We need specifics. While she was trying to get dressed, Hall allegedly, quote, barged into the room, pinned her down, and forced Lisa Gardner to have sex with him, end quote, the suit says. Following the alleged assaults, she got dressed and ran from the home, according to the lawsuit. So if she can give those specifics, we need more. Did Sean Combs push you down on the bed? Were you telling Sean Combs, no, you don't want to do this? You know,
that's pretty bad.
And he forced himself on you anyway. You know, I mean,
what was provided is enough. It's enough.
If you're putting a lawsuit out there to try to get money or just justice,
why does it happen?
And that's why I said that the span of time matters, bro. Why do you feel that this is right to do now and not 31 years ago or 25 years ago? You know, what about now?
There's a reason I can tell you about. There's a reason. New York has a statutes of limitations. I don't understand exactly how it works, but they have some kind of statute of limitations law that allowed them to, I guess, allow for plaintiffs to file cases against people who sexually assaulted them, or people who had over a period of time that would have, I guess, normally been past the normal statute of limitations. So they extended it or opened it up to this time frame. And so this was the time that they could actually, in their new positions in their lives, 30 years later, maybe give or take, whatever this amount of time is later, where they had time to think and process, right, what had happened to them and finally file a complaint, right? Imagine going up against Diddy. New York has imagine going up against Diddy
30 years. That's
in a case like this in the 90s. In the 90s,
and Frank is right. The length of time does not matter because justice is justice, right? Like, you know, black people were abused 250 years ago. The length of time don't matter. That shit we still seek justice, right? So it doesn't matter that it was 30 years, but
I didn't point out the Holocaust happened 80 plus years ago and we still talk about it.
True. So the length of time doesn't matter. It doesn't. But it's just it's just something to be said about like where is your culpability? What decisions did you make in this
to deserve to be?
It has to be brought to light, bro. Because was it assault or was it you thought you were gonna be with him and he didn't? Because that plays a role into it too. It can play a role into it too.
No, it doesn't.
It totally can.
Those little details that you seem to be looking for do not play a role. What happened? What we have with the information that we do have is enough to file an accusation against Diddy for whatever happened. Doesn't fucking matter how, button on button. Oh, he took my shirt off and I said no, or who gives a shit? It doesn't.
That totally matters, right?
No,
it matters because if she said yes when she was at a party with hip hop and R&B stars, right? She might have been starstruck. She made the decision to go back to his home.
But you're making
so those little details do matter.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
Did she?
Right
we all are we're all making assumptions because
we're only basing
because it doesn't go into enough detail for us to get the facts.
We're only basing on what we're reading about. We're not making any assumptions. You're making a lot of assumptions right now because
we're all making assumptions. You're assuming that Diddy is guilty.
No,
you're assuming that Diddy is guilty.
How did I say that? Did I say that?
I am not assuming
anything. Again, another assumption that you're making. That's another assumption that you're making. You're assuming that you know what I'm thinking, which you don't.
Is Diddy guilty?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Hey, what I do know that he
sexually assaulted her.
He settled
what he's been accused of,
and he settled for that one case. So she had receipts, and he settled. So I mean, he's not guilty, but he's not guilty.
Innocent.
What do you think that means, D? You want to assume on that one? What do you assume that means?
Is he guilty or innocent?
After paying 8 figures. After paying her 8 figures to shut up.
To the girl Cassie?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what kind of business dealings they had as well, because wasn't she an artist under him? So there might have been some contractual obligations there, not just hush money.
Accused of sexual assault.
Well, to me personally, I think we're all making assumptions, okay? Because we don't know enough specifically to know the facts in the case. If to me personally,
I'm not making any assumes. I never assumed that he did it or not.
Of course he would.
We don't know that information. The only information that we do know is I
think a lot of these celebrities are kind of demented in that way. I'm not gonna say a lot of celebrities. They have this kind of air of like untouchability, right? Like, and this is a hip hop artist, right, or a star or executive. So imagine when you go higher up the chain, like you think you're just untouchable. I can't do any wrong. Bill Cosby thought he couldn't do shit wrong. He wasn't in the hip hop space and all this. You know what I mean? So I totally think Diddy is definitely capable of doing something like this. I don't want to assume guilt, but I'm sorry if it seems like I'm assuming and making assumptions, but I assume that you guys felt he was guilty because you're defending this girl in this.
You're assuming that she was lying. You're assuming that she's lying.
And you're assuming that he's lying.
What do you mean lying? He didn't say anything. He just paid the fucking what she asked for to shut her up.
But you assume that Diddy is guilty.
There are no assumptions here. At least I can only speak for myself. I'm sorry. I'm not speaking for you. But like
8 figures.
That's one case. And he also had contractual obligations towards her. Okay? Like we don't know the specifics of that deal. You know what I'm saying? So that one case, it was one. He settled it. But
Diddy would come out and say, "Hey, I paid her because I owed her money for a song she did."
Not when you're an executive of a company like Revolt. You hush that stuff. You pay it to make it go away. It's about public image. Same reason he stepped down from Revolt because of these accusations. You let it go. You don't come out and say anything. You let it handle it in court, and that's it. So no, he's not going to say I'm guilty or innocent. I said I handle it in court.
He didn't. He didn't say he's guilty or innocent. I agree. He paid 8 figures. What song is worth 8 figures?
So you're assuming that he's guilty from that because he paid 8 figures.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
No, you're assuming that he's assuming.
What do you? What do you assume 8 figures is worth?
It depends on what kind of contractual obligations are involved in this situation.
He's innocent. So you're assuming he's innocent?
No, not at all.
So what are we assuming?
I'm saying that the burden of proof is on her. This is 32 years ago for this one specific case that I read. So the burden of proof is on you to prove him. Doesn't it say that you're innocent until proven guilty in the court of law?
Let me say this. What if she had enough proof? What if she had enough proof to make this name? What if? Yeah. I'm saying. Let me propose a scenario.
That's an assumption because you're saying
let me propose a scenario. She says he sexually assaulted her in these number of instances, right? And
it's
then
on videotape and all the detail.
And then let's say she asked for an amount of money, right? And then he
keep quiet.
keep quiet. And he's like, no. And then she wait, let me finish. And then she says, what about this evidence? And he's like,
because it's on videotape and he has her likeness on there, so I'm sure there is some.
This is an interesting scenario.
You're right, but he has her likeness on tape, which I'm sure there has to be some kind of, I don't know, laws and all that, but if without that tape, would he have paid it? I don't know. We're all making accusations, is what I'm saying.
You're making accusations.
So I'm not making any accusations, dog. I have not made one single accusation. I have not made one single accusation here.
I think we all. I think we've all already judged. Okay, I'm not going to say we all. I'm going to say
you.
No, I'm going to say you two. Fine, I'm going to say you two have judged Diddy in the court of public opinion already.
No,
I'll say it's likely he might have done some shit.
I think so too. Yeah,
I would say, let's see how this goes. Let's see what else transpires. What else gets found out? Where this goes? Because right now, the most common denominator here is none of us know shit about what happened, about what really fucking happened here. All we have is an accusation. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we have to go on, right? Like, we're not making assumptions on like, oh, that means Diddy's guilty automatically, or that means she's fucked up. She's blaming him for something he's innocent for.
Yeah, definitely, man. I definitely think Diddy definitely is capable of doing something like this, but I just think that the burden of proof is on her, man. She's got to prove that this is what happened. And maybe I feel like Diddy is. I feel like in the court of public opinion, Diddy is judged already. Oh, of course he did some shit like that. Of course he would. Which shit. Some guys you probably would never even think of would do demented shit like that. For all we know, hey, I'm Team Will, and for all we know, Will Smith has done some crazy shit that might come up. Let me knock on some wood. I'm Team Will. I don't want Will to go through that shit. Will's been through enough.
What's the other side of Team Will? What's the other side of Team Will? What's the opposite side? Jada?
Okay. Your side, you're opposite of Team Will. You're either Team Chris or Team Will.
Oh, Chris, right, Chris. Okay. Yes.
Oh, you're Team Chris, bro. We had this debate. So okay, let's just go around the room. Let's just find, since I'm the assuming one.
Stop.
Since I'm the assuming one. Let's make an assumption here. Is Diddy guilty? Okay. Frank, is Diddy guilty? Do you think Diddy did this?
Not enough information.
Juice, with my view, do you think that Diddy is guilty?
I think the likelihood of at least one case that he paid out on, he may have fucked up.
There may have been some reason. There may have been some large incriminating reason. That was a lot of money. For him.
And then they dropped him from Revolt.
Damn, I didn't know that dude had that much money, dog. Like, just to throw out like that, though? Like, fuck.
Diddy stepped down from Revolt. He wasn't dropped.
That's at least $10 million.
I'm sorry. He stepped down in this coincidental
When you're an executive of a company, you're not, no one person is bigger than the team, right? So, like, you can't shed bad light on our organization, right? You have to go, at that point. He didn't step down. He didn't get pushed out of Revolt. He stepped down, he resigned.
Like suggested he resign.
Well, yeah, you have a board of, so they might have, but at the end of the day, unless they force him out, I guess the decision was on him. And from what I read,
we just like focus on like Claudine pointed out, like we should like try to focus on like not blaming like the victims in situations like this,
nobody blaming the victims.
We have to be fair and understand that like when it takes a lot for somebody to actually come out in public in like against somebody as powerful and popular, right? As any celebrity, and say that that person did something personally wrong against them, and that like we should kind of try to be compassionate. Like imagine if it was just imagine if it was you. Like imagine goddamn some fucking, I don't know, did something terrible to you, and then you know that nobody's gonna believe you because you're black. Let's say you're black, right? Well, you're black, but I'm saying like, you're black. I'm black. Well, in a scenario in which like, oh, this is just a black guy asking for money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say, then like, how would you feel like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and speak out against this super popular, famous, a crazy, amazing person, even though nobody's gonna believe me and I'm gonna look like the a-hole? Am I just gonna go ahead and do that and like kind of ruin my life?
And then at the same
all
time,
of my friends and family and people on the street I don't know hate me?
And then
or
at
am
the
I
same time,
That's not fair, because nobody would know this girl. If she had accused Diddy the next day after all this happened, nobody would know this girl. You saw her on the street.
Know her, and
Her
people
family
in
would
the people she lives around, who she interacts with her life, would know her and know the drama that, and one, her trauma, would know her trauma. One would know her trauma that she was in this situation. And two, whether like we all would assume that like a sexual encounter should be pretty private, right?
True.
Like preferably, right? So one, everybody knows about this now, and they are judging her either to her face or behind her back. She had to live with that. That's emotional trauma already, right? So just imagine that's you, right?
Well, see, I know from the article, what's that lady's name? Lisa Gardner, the one little part I read. So this one says she was in the party in 1991. So context matters, right? Which is why I say details are important in a case like this, because it was so long ago, right? Like Sean Diddy Combs wasn't Diddy in 91. He wasn't Diddy in 92. He wasn't Diddy in 93. So there was time where you weren't going up against such a powerful celebrity person that you had to come out. You know what I mean? And like I said, whether he's guilty or not, he deserves to face justice. So it doesn't matter if it was 30 years ago or 3 years ago, right? Like if he did this to this woman, he deserves to face justice. Because I'm with you, Juice. I always have thought Diddy was kind of sleazy. He's always trying to like steal the spotlight and be in your songs. And, he wasn't like just producing and being behind the scenes. He wanted to be in front of the camera. I'm right next to Biggie. I'm elbow to elbow, So he totally could have done some shit like this. But
who's to say? Now I'm making an assumption here, but who's to say that he wasn't already kind of like not rolling in money, but he wasn't already making his way at that point in time?
Definitely connected. Yeah, definitely.
But
because
again, that's something we don't know, right? Like there's so many reasons why she chose to wait 32 years. She chose to wait 32 years in order to come out and finally say something about what happened back in 1991. That passage of time, again, it doesn't matter, but like at the same time, what she did, and God forbid if he actually did do that. Again, not enough information, but like what she did is extremely brave. And at the same time, even if she did it back then, who's to say that he didn't have like, if she tried to like file a suit, take him to court maybe, or in arbitration or whatever, who's to say that he couldn't just bury her for every fucking penny that she has, because she could not afford the legal. She could her legal could not go up against his, even at the time when he was rolling in money, right? Definitely not now, right? There's going to be some sort of settlement, innocent or guilty. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. That's going to be the conclusion to this story, right? Where he already tried to throw money at her. Was it her or was it another woman? I'm sorry, I wasn't following that. That's
specifically Cassie.
Cassie,
yeah.
So
here's the thing, Cassie.
Good.
Well, yeah, he did. He offered her an amount before, and she was like, no.
Right. So he already tried to offer her amount. Right now, if this goes to arbitration, right, and there's going to be a settlement of some kind, just so that the status quo can be maintained, and he has the money. Clearly, he has the money to do that. So that's what it's going to come down to. Whatever
So-
happened or didn't happen, that's what's going to happen at the end of it. That's the conclusion to this, right? So her coming out is, if it is for a cash grab, if it is for clout reasons or whatever,
or just being courageous,
right? I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying. I'm trying to emphasize his point, right? It's more a matter of what she's accusing him of is very. I'm going to try to find the right way to say this, but like what she's accusing him of is very poignant. It's very serious. It's something to be taken seriously. It's not something that where if you hear it, you don't just automatically assume that there's something that the victim is culpable, because this is something that, again, if it happened to you or someone close to you, I'm sure you'd be singing a different tune. So is good.
Can Diddy not be a victim in all this? Like, say this is a cash grab, and say she is, I mean, can't we flip it on his head and say Diddy is a victim? I think for a lot of people, we already judge Diddy because we know him through his music and through the moves we've seen him make, and you kind of have a built up, thought about Diddy, what he is in your mind. And
what I do know,
at the end of the day, I think the man can be the victim in this.
What I do know,
which is why facts are important.
What I do know about Diddy is that he is the one being accused right now, right? So that does not make him the victim.
It is if the accusation is a lie. It is if the accusation is false.
That does not make them the victim. He is the one being.
What do you mean?
accused.
She's slandering his name. That's slander. You know what I mean? You can't. He could be.
Again,
I'm not saying
we're going back to what we know and what we don't know. It's not proven yet of whatever happened. We don't know that.
But the damage to his reputation is already done. So
I'm straight talking about facts and information and what we know. He is not the victim. He is not the victim in this case. She is. She is the one blaming him, accusing him of sexual assault. She is the victim. Period. Like that. That's just how it works with the documents, right? With the legality of it. She is the victim here. Until we find out more information, that will be the status quo. Until
Claudine put in the chat.
Claudine,
yeah, I saw that.
Pointed out that even his inner circle had corroborated Cassie's evidence. So,
and I did read that in the article
I heard about that. There is a solid amount of evidence that he has to either counter or pay out, right? Because I wish I had all the detailed stuff here.
There's a guy in the article they mentioned that he was an ex-president of Bad Boy Entertainment and Bad Boy Records. He definitely corroborated. What's his name? Harv Pierre. He said that another lawsuit was filed Tuesday, according to Harv Pierre, of sexually assaulting an unnamed former assistant. So definitely, man, I definitely think when you get to an executive position of power, you definitely think you're untouchable. I can get that girl. I can get her. Come on over here. You know what I'm saying? You definitely can. And
these should be the consequences one pays for such fucking callous, stupid ass behavior.
But I think.
I mean, in maybe more. If it's truly assault, if it's truly rape, if it's truly terrible, over the top things like that, I'm not against if they can pull it off, they could get in the supporting evidence. Jail time seems reasonable to me, man.
Oh, definitely, yeah. If you did it, you gotta go.
He won't get it though.
That's hard. Yeah, I know.
And even if he does,
and that's the question I have
for a very short time.
How do y'all feel about that? Are payouts justice to you guys? If she's willing to settle for a payout, if he actually did this and assaulted her, and she's willing to settle, is that justice to you?
Justice is something
to you personally. I don't mean to her.
Justice is subjective,
right? Because I feel like if he did this and he assaulted her, you should go to jail because that's what happened to me, right? Like if somebody did that to a member of my family, someone close to me, I would want that person to suffer. But if they can just pay you out and you say, okay, that's good enough, you know, yeah, I'll take that.
That comes down to ethics, right? Like what you agree to, or what the victim here or the plaintiff here agrees to, right?
It's a matter of analysis.
If me as an adult, now we're all adults, right? If I choose to drink, right, and I go out and hit someone walking with my car, and I try to say, well, I was drunk, you know, I wasn't in my right state of mind, I'm still going to get in trouble for hitting someone in my car, right? Because I was the one who chose to drink. So shouldn't that apply in this case? If
the
she's
scenario,
the one who chose to drink,
what you're saying, right?
That's
what you're saying.
It's not. Because if he sexually assaulted her, it's not the same thing. But if he did not sexually assault her, it is the same thing.
If we were to compare the scenario you just said to this scenario, that means that, again, with you looking for more details, right, for justification of things, you're basically saying that the person shouldn't have been walking on the street that you were driving down before you hit them. If they weren't walking on the street, if they weren't walking on the street that night, if they weren't walking on that street at that time of night, when you were driving drunk, you wouldn't have hit them.
Yep.
That's what that's what you're saying when you say we need more details on like what happened before we can.
Or like, should she take responsibility for drinking?
I say that.
Should she take responsibility for drinking? Like that's not.
Yes,
like it's not
you
her
take responsibility for going to the party.
You to stop somebody from assaulting her.
All this, what I'm saying hinges on
the fact not assault. Baseline all this hinges.
Right.
Baseline is assault.
Baseline
all
is
this,
no assault.
Everything I'm saying hinges on if he assaulted her. Because if he didn't,
it's past base. That's the offense.
There is a scenario where he didn't assault her. You can't see that. There's no possible way you could think that he did not assault her, because then the decision for her to drink or to go back to his house is on her. If she totally agreed to have sex with him, like
maybe.
She's
but like,
what responsible for her decisions leading up to that
what
moment.
ifs? You talking about what ifs, like potential scenarios? What if like the CIA jumped in and threw a body double in that joint that made the body double assault her while he fell asleep on the couch? Right.
There we go.
If we talking about what if scenarios, like what if there was a doppelganger in the room, right?
Right.
Who popped out the closet, right?
Right.
Dude, I'm talking about like
what if it was an alternate reality version that jumped through dimensions?
Right.
And it wasn't P. Diddy.
What if
it was like D Piddy, right? It was D Piddy, and D Piddy was the one that decided Duff Patty.
Hey, and I agree with
on the portal.
I agree with Claudine in the chat, and I love Claudine for her support of you, Juice, because she always is down to listen, man.
Supporting the facts, nigga.
It is very common in a time of conflict. But see, we don't know any facts. There are no facts, Juice. We're all making assumptions.
It's supporting reasons.
There are no facts because she won't come out with the details of what happened. There are no facts.
Where's his details?
They don't exist.
Where's his details?
We're assuming.
Come out with the details? Why does Diddy not come out with the details?
He's the one with the money. It's the burden of proof is not on me. It's on you. You have to prove that I did this. I'm the one with the money.
He paid it out if he could disprove it.
So Claudine says it is very common in time of conflict when sex is used as a weapon for the victim to ask for monetary compensation and not just retribution justice, which I kind of agree with, right? Like, so okay, if she settled, if Diddy did this, if Diddy did this, and there was an interdimensional person that came through the closet, blah blah blah, and Diddy's guilty, and she said he settles for money, right? Is that justice? Because to me, it's not. I feel like Diddy should suffer more than that. He should go to jail.
Is subjective.
It's subjective.
Like, what if it's a scenario in which, like, this is something that would be drawn up for so long through 1,000 court cases, which she would have to prove and disprove and put herself like in the public eye for scrutiny, and everybody on the internet's like, well, what if this happened? Like, remember Megan Thee Stallion when she got shot in the foot, and everybody was like, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. Yeah.
that didn't
because it was
happen.
such an
Why?
outlandish, crazy story. Sexual assault can happen, and it's not to be taken lightly.
Getting shot in the foot.
Turns out
she
did get shot in the foot.
She did.
Talk about outlandish. Yeah, turned out she did get shot in the foot.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's outlandish.
So that crazy outlandish scenario of you getting shot in the foot.
Remember what
can
she
happen
went through.
because
Wait,
it was cool.
Let me finish my scenario. It's like all the shit she went through. Like she went through depression. She went through a whole lot of turmoil. Right. Her career suffered. Right. Off of people just not wanting to believe that she was a victim of a dumbass's fleeting moment of stupidity, of violent stupidity, right? And then, like, so in the scenario like this, like, there's a situation in which she would maybe be in court for all this time, right? Saying that she's trying to get him into jail, trying to prove to the point that she has to get him into jail, right? And then you get offered the compensation, which is an acknowledgement, and it's recompensation, not recompensation, recompense. It's recompense, right? And in a way, that might be all the salve for her pain, all the healing, all the bandages she can get. It's this and that. That's all she will be able to maintain. And no, it may not be what she wants. Maybe she wants him to go to jail. Maybe she has feelings for him and doesn't want him to go to jail. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is what it's a cost benefit analysis. What can you actually get? What can, like, lawyers have to make the decision all the time in court. Do we, like, there was a case recently I heard about a hate crime, where it's like a hate crime happened and a murder happened. They were like, look, we can definitely get him on a murder, but this also looks like a hate crime. But do we try to go after?
Do we pursue that? Do we pursue this as a hate crime?
And like,
because
maybe we don't. Maybe we just go for the murder to secure
the win.
Conviction. To secure the win.
Yes.
So that's a cost benefit analysis they have to make in order, like, maybe taking the money is what all she can bear. All she can do.
Yeah. Hate crimes specifically are also subjective and harder to prove than murders.
No, we're not talking about that.
I know, I get what you're saying, but you brought up hate crime. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And like I said, all this depends on if Diddy is guilty or not. It's everything is ifs and buts and candies and nuts. Everything. We're all assuming. We're all just. We don't know. We don't know.
So if there's a settlement and she takes the money,
him settling is not an admission of guilt. It could be a make it go away thing. He is also in the public eye and has to maintain his career. That's what I said like 5 minutes ago. It's like it's going to end up either way. It's going to end up in a settlement of some kind, right? Because maybe he is too rich and powerful to go to jail. Yeah, if he stepped down from a vault now, maybe he was back in like 2 weeks. Maybe he's back. For all we know, this nigga could have murdered people. He could be a serial killer, and he wouldn't go to jail because he's rich. He's rich. Yeah.
Hey, Henry Kissinger killed 4 million people by his biographers' estimates. Was the reason 4 million people were killed. Yep. Henry Kissinger, he lived to 100 years old and just died the other day. Nice and cushy, nice hospice on fucking golden
assisted living care.
Sheets.
Yeah, the justice system definitely doesn't work the same when you're not wealthy versus when you are. It doesn't.
And maybe Cassie realizes this on some level, right? Mm-hmm. She wants like Kaman said earlier, like she wants justice. She maybe wants him to go to jail, but maybe
and I feel like
offered and taking the money.
All you can get. You take what you can get.
Maybe getting offered and taking the money is the only option that she has. That she's not going to get what she wants, but this is what she can get. And like Claudine says, in time of conflict, this is unfortunately the next best thing. So
also she got him on the public scene, right? Like, look, everybody's looking at Diddy sideways now.
Mm-hmm. Right. And this is the kind of the back end of things, right? What are the repercussions now in his public image?
there was always this like mistrust of Diddy, like especially amongst the community, like the culture, like you just didn't really trust it. Why the hell are you always in the videos and in the spotlight? And you had all these
I said
issues.
that John years ago.
Yeah,
ever
you had all
since
these
he
issues
came
with all
out
the
dancing
artists.
around Faith Evans.
Yeah,
I'll be missing you ever since that jump, man. And he's dancing in the rain, man. I was like, I don't trust his name.
yeah,
You don't
he
make
just
music.
was like a clout grabber.
You don't really make music.
Yeah.
I don't trust his
name. I mean, he definitely could have did something like this. I would not be surprised if they come out next week and say, "Oh, we found Sean Diddy Combs guilty." Da da da. Think, of course, he would do something like that. Yeah, he's a celebrity. He's been on top for a long time, man. So you get this air of untouchability.
He's the reason we didn't get another G-Dep album.
That first G-Dep album was off the hook, though. That shit was tight.
I like that joke, man. It was a good ass album, man.
Cold to the wind, yeah.
Danger Zone.
That album was hard, huh? I still listen to that joke, man. Yeah,
hell yeah, man. It's a one of a kind, man.
Yeah.
Was it Danger Zone? No, the Danger Zone was
on the ghetto. Yeah.
Shout out to the ghetto.
Yeah.
Shout out to the ghetto.
It was hard. I'm about to go listen to that joke when we get off here, bro. Yeah, that album was off the hook.
Yo,
yeah, man.
Craig Mack. Hey, yeah, man. All right.